Hey folks, Ben here, aka Bat and Bob and Duke and some other stuff too. Just a quick note before we jump in. We had a lot of technical issues this week, and by technical issues, I of course mean that I spilled a coffee into the mixer like a fucking putz. So there were no sparks or anything exciting, but the recording cuts out at a couple of points. We had to stop for a bit and, daisy chain some things together, but we got there in the end. So I hope the audio quality is okay. Like I said, there's a few spots where it cuts out. We will work in something very classy, very understated in the WatchBots fashion to get us there. But thanks for bearing with us. We should be back to normal next week. And I hope you enjoy the show.
I'll just do it straight.
Do your Mark Summers voice.
Eddie Murphy was the man. There we go.
The Love Shack Mama.
Should I just do B-52's guy? Magic frilly sleeves and the very innocent tale of a man cruising round with parentless children on this episode of WatchBots.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to WatchBots, the podcast that haunts your dreams so long as your dreams are about incongruous editing and huge animated hands and shows meant for 10-year-olds at the absolute oldest. This is Jace Ben Voorhees, and I am joined by Slaylin.
Hello.
Hello. And Grave.
Kill.
How I missed the most obvious names last week, I don't know, but I feel like we've probably peaked on Schlocktoonbrr Fest.
Yeah, we ended recording, and I was like, Grave. We all miss Grave.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're not professional. It's like this is like AM radio, amateur radio.
It's not news for our listeners.
That's right.
I'm looking forward to November for no shave, and we'll somehow make that into a Dave pun.
It's not coming to me.
Shave.
So we have current events to discuss.
Yes, we do.
Big news.
Big news.
What's going on?
So news came out the day that we're recording this that Marvel and Disney and Amazon, for some reason, are being sued by a composer. And it relates to the X-Men cartoon.
Ooh.
Specifically, the theme song. So
Yep.
you guys remember the theme song? It's very iconic.
One of the best ones.
Doodle-doo-doo-doo-doo. Well, take a listen to some of this shit. So that is from the Hungarian crime drama, Linda the Policewoman, which aired in 1983 and it aired for 7 years. And some striking similarities there, I would say.
Uh-huh. So the person who composed that song is suing Disney, Amazon, and Marvel?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So did that come out before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, you could ask the logical question of, boy, that X-Men show, as we all remember from our episode, aired in 1992. It's 2019. So
yeah. Where they just, they could have, That was Fox. Like, they could have sued Fox for a lot of money, but now they're just we're biding our time until we could sue 3 major conglomerates.
We're coming for you, Iger. we're hungry for your money.
We take down Big Disney.
Yes. And his mouse will work for us. So I thought that was big news.
That tickled me just right.
I'm happy to hear that.
Stop tickling each other over there. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, that could ruin Disney.
It might.
The whole MCU.
I mean, this person's going to get like $500,000 and be on their way.
But the real consequence to this, potentially, is that the X-Men series is due to be on the Disney Plus service.
Oh,
and you have to wonder if licensing and things like that will lead to that song going away.
Like on Dawson's Creek on Netflix.
Right, or ECW on the WWE network, if you want to be a little hipper.
I don't want to be hipper.
Hip cat, baby. So, anyway, I thought that was
Except
worth
to be
talking.
square.
We now return to The Night Stalker, starring Darren McGavin.
I spilled coffee into the mixer, which, you could consider not ideal, and you would be correct, as my channel is borked. But I just want to put it out there. It's not Shaylin's fault, although she's interpreting my irritation as mad at her. So, Shaylin, I just need an acknowledgement that we're on the same page.
We're here.
Dave, I need your acknowledgement as well.
I will acknowledge you by pouring my beer over my microphone.
I didn't even have a beer. That's the sad part about it. I had a coffee. I was excited for it, and now I'm just watching Channel 1 blink and blink and blink and blink, and hopefully that's not recording.
We've each got our sad addictions. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My only addiction is, of course, Jane's addiction. So I feel strongly about that. So fortunately, we had got through the news of the day, and we don't have a mea culpa of the week. But Dave, I know you have a follow-up, and I was just tittering with glee to name this segment the follow-up of the week. So have at it.
So not last episode, but 2 episodes ago, I had claimed that my father-in-law used what's it called? The things you cut out for from like cereal
Proofs
boxes.
of purchase.
Shrinky dinks.
Thank you. Shrinky dinks. So he had cut out a bunch of shrinky dinks, or proofs of purchase to get all the Bullwinkle toys, but he did not. He did not do that. I confirmed with my wife that he just bought them on his own as an adult. So there's a bunch of Bullwinkle toys in my in-laws' home that my children like to play with, and that my father-in-law is still kind of precious about.
Sure.
But that's neither here nor there. I was wrong, but I fact-checked it because I was unsure of that, and I did not want to run into a mea culpa. So I'm happy this is just a follow-up.
So when you say Bullwinkle toys, does he have like many characters of the same, or many toys that are different characters, or many different specifically Bullwinkle toys?
From the cartoon. So there's a Dudley Do-Right.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a Bullwinkle, a Rocky, Dudley Do-Right, Natasha and Boris, etc., etc. Yeah, so he's got, and they're all from the same toy line as well.
Okay.
From all the same stuffed animal company.
I bet he bought them from someone on eBay who did the thing that I did when I mailed away for them.
No.
What does that mean?
He bought them in the 90s. Like, he went out specifically to a store and
that's
purchased
even
them
better.
there.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that our long national nightmare can draw to a close.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to leave everyone on edge like that.
Took less time than the impeachment hearings, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, gosh, Ben. I thought we wrapped up our topical news.
You won't see Trump blocking anybody from these here broadcasts. Testimonies? Hearings. Shannon, what's the legal term?
Currently, they're in hearings.
Schlocktoonbrr continues this week, and we are back in the world of live action. Cartoons, not scary enough. So we are visiting a name that I can't believe was legally cleared, and that is Marc Summers' Mystery Magical Tour, also known on the internet as the Mystery Magical Special. And this it's a trip. I have vivid memories of watching this on television. The earworm music came back to me immediately, but this is one of those things. I didn't remember a goddamn thing about this, but did you both have some experience with this?
I had a similar experience as you.
Okay.
I watched it a lot. So this was produced. I couldn't find any good, solid data or information on this. This was produced maybe in 1986 or maybe 1990, and they replayed it every Halloween until like.
Or maybe it was produced another year entirely.
Yeah, or something like that. I just saw a bunch of different dates. Nobody knows for sure. It's a mystery magical special of we don't know, of history. So this repeated though for years. They played it every Halloween or every October for years after. And I watched it every year. Did I remember a thing? No. I remember nothing. Just like you, Ben. Like, the music all came back to me, but I couldn't remember the plot. I thought there were other things involved. It was just, I've seen it a lot, but not memorable.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me there's a plot involved here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
And master magicians.
Well, I wasn't doubting the master magicians.
Mm-hmm.
I had no memory of this. When you guys were talking about the Marc Summers mystery special, Halloween special, I just kept going, what are they talking about? Surely at some point, some of this will have a memory or any of this will make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. I watched it twice because I thought the first time I was too distracted.
It's not good enough.
And turns out I think I just don't get it. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's not to get?
It's very straightforward.
Plots.
It's very straightforward.
Yeah, it's both a horror and a magic show. It's everything you could have asked for.
It's more than you could possibly reckon with. I feel like. So we'll talk about the show itself in a second, but I mean, I think one of the conceits here is you're in like a spooky haunted house, kind of, sort of, and today there's all kinds of haunted hay rides and, movie themed haunted houses and all kinds of crazy shit. Do you guys go in for that? Or are you cowards?
So I liked haunted houses a lot for a long time. And then I hit a turning point where I was like, I could just watch a spooky movie and then sleep at night instead of having so much adrenaline that I'm awake for days, panicked about things that are not real.
Yeah.
So I think I've outgrown them, like the in-person experiences.
Okay.
What's your favorite scary movie? Like, what's the movie that scared you the most?
What's your favorite scary movie?
So
what's the movie that kept you up for days? You said.
No, not movies keeping me up for days. Like the experience of haunted houses kept me up for days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and like haunted hay rides, like that stuff, like the in-person stuff, is too much for me. Scary movies, I still absolutely adore.
Nothing but trouble.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, the John Candy vehicle.
The one with Dan Aykroyd and the fucking nose.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah. Chevy Chase, Demi Moore, Dan Aykroyd, John Candy. Yeah, it's great.
Anyway, Shaylin, you were giving a serious, thought-out answer.
I really like Texas Chainsaw, and I really like the original Night of the Living Dead.
Okay,
excellent.
Those are my favorites. How about you guys?
We're talking about haunted houses.
Well, Dave said movies.
Everybody.
I know. We're all over the place. I fucking spill coffee all over the machine, and it's like we're all aflutter.
It's sort of like the Marc Summers mystery magic special.
I was
all over the place.
I was gonna equate it to when that everybody's favorite incel, the Joker, threatened to blow up a hospital.
Uh-huh.
And then they're all losing their minds. That wasn't a great. I had it for a second. I lost it. Anyway, Dave, haunted houses, pro? No.
Yeah, I think I would. I'm into them. Yeah, I had a funny experience.
Are you
sure? It's very wishy-washy.
Are you sure?
I'm into them.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever. The last experience though I had at one was there was a local haunted house, and it's funny. It's attached to a restaurant, and it's on the same property as a restaurant. So you would go get dinner, and then you leave and wait in line for like an hour to go through this haunted house for 5 minutes. Now I had gone there with a woman that I was working with, and I thought it was a date, but it wasn't, because she brought 2 other friends with her, and so the 4 of us went through this haunted house together. They were so scared of this haunted house that I left, like, they were like grabbing onto my arms and like clutching me so hard. I had bruises on my arms and like shoulders afterwards. And that was my last experience with it. And it wasn't even like a cool, like, oh, like I'm a big tough guy, whatever. They were just so scared. And then they left afterwards. So like the date failed. My arms hurt. And that was the last time I've been in a haunted house. But I think I think I still appreciate them. Just had a bad experience the last time.
Okay. Interestingly, yeah. I have a date-related haunted house story. And Shaylin, don't worry. It was just me intruding on someone else's date, okay? So when I was in college, there was a haunted house run by, I think, high school kids. And a couple of friends were going. And they were Biff and Jiff. And I said, no reason old Ben can't go on this trip. I was probably drunk. Safe to assume. So we went, and knowing it was high school kids, like jumping at it, you didn't improve the experience because I cowered, and I like just stuck to the walls as much as possible, and I hated it. And then we all went to go see the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and thus continue.
With Jessica Biel?
That's the one. Thus continued a rich tradition of me going on dates with couples. Not for any weird reason, just something to do. Killing time.
I feel like you going on a date with those couples is me every time we record this podcast.
No.
Different.
No.
Okay.
Because the difference is that on those dates, I was non-threatening.
Or that couple was happy.
Yeah, that's possible.
Also, you're invited. Ben just popped up on those dates.
That's true.
I appreciate that.
But yeah, haunted houses, I don't know. They're kind of bullshit. I guess I don't get it. Like down at Universal Studios in Florida and California every year, they do the Halloween Horror Nights deal. And some of the stuff looks legitimately cool, right? So this year they have a Ghostbusters house. I think they have a Stranger Things house, but they do cool stuff every year. Like one year was walking through the original Halloween house, and they set it up to flow like the movie. And on the level of somebody who appreciates that kind of movie, I go, oh shit, that's really cool. But on the other hand, Shayla, I come back to your point, and it's like, what am I, some kind of asshole? Like, I just want to walk around the house and have people fucking jump at me while I scream? Like, what good is that going to do? Like, if I want to get jacked up, I'll double brew a pot of coffee, you know? I don't know. Being scared and people who go for like thrills, it's odd to me. The only thrill I need is sitting at this microphone and spilling liquid on electronics. That's all I need.
Indeed.
You know what I mean?
It is a thrill.
Yeah.
I can't wait for this to come up 80 more times throughout this recording.
As things just continue to short out. Like, yeah.
I like, so I love being scared. I love horror movies. I love like the experience of going to a haunted house, even when it's a shitty date. But I do not like I cannot take like roller coasters or like, you know, thrills of like that. Mm-hmm. Like I just need to be terrified to my core. Not physically, just like emotionally and mentally. That's all I need.
Who likes being scared? That is insane.
It's not like being scared. I just like, I enjoy. That's what you're saying. Yeah, I guess so.
Word for word.
It's not like it. That's what you said.
Yeah. I just like, well, I misspoke, but like, I just, I like a good crafted scare, I guess. I don't know. Like you watch a shitty horror movie and it kind of sucks and like, you're not scared. But like when a movie like kind of disturbs you, like, I don't know, Kubrick's The Shining, or Rosemary's Baby or something like that. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like you can kind of appreciate the craft.
Okay.
I can appreciate the craft, and I like the thrill of a scary movie. I like the adrenaline rush of being on a roller coaster, but the act of and sensation of just being fucking terrified, not into that. I don't love that. There's a slight, like, it's towing the line.
Sure.
But the actual terror I'm not into.
So maybe we shouldn't have watched Marc Summers' Mystery Magical Special.
Possibly.
Because it was terrifying.
In some ways, yes.
Yeah.
Now, contrary to what some people would tell you, this was developed in 1988.
Pretty documented.
I found that in multiple spots.
Everything I looked at, it was like 86, 90, 89.
Were you reading like my journal entries that I wrote by hand just from the air?
I did find that. Yeah, I found shalensjournal.com.
Yeah. .geocities.angelfire. So we're pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's 88. If I'm wrong, shoot me, okay? We'll put a mea culpa up. We'll have egg on our face. That's what people like. But
I can't wait to fucking shoot you.
No shooting allowed. Not allowed.
Again, with the awning on the mic? What are you doing?
Whatever I want.
Okay, so...
Ben spills coffee, you spill the sleepies.
This is a disaster.
I was already talking and it just came out of my mouth. I can't control them like other people. I just yawn. It's a thing.
All right, I don't want to belabor this. Unprofessional.
I'm gonna build a fart up and just do that on mic just to kind of get the trifecta out there.
Would that be that would be the
give me
third,
some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burps and shit. So 88 was, I think, the height of Double Dare. So Double Dare had technically come on the air in Nickelodeon in 86, but it hit its stride. It was headed into syndication. You were getting into Family Double Dare and Super Sloppy and all that stuff. And it was sort of the first heights of Marc Summers. He came back later for Unwrapped, of course. Now, why the concept of Marc Summers acting and taking children that weren't his children to the movies was... Like, that was the angle they went with. I have no fucking idea. I can't even begin to explain it. Like, what there isn't a lot out there is, like, the development of this. Like, John Nickelodeon thought, hey, Marc, do you like magic? Do you like random little kids? We got a narrative for you. It's just this bizarrely constructed sort of thing. But what it does have is a lot of stars that we will talk about. So kids all over the place. Stuff like that. It was directed by Steven Santos, whose other directing credits include such luminary things as remote parts of the 1990 Jerry Lewis MDA telethon.
Great.
So that's a big credit. And a bunch of comedy specials. He's also a pretty prolific stage manager. So he was listed as stage manager all over the place.
You're forgetting a big one. He directed a couple episodes of The Rosie O'Donnell Show.
The talk show or
the talk show?
Okay.
Yeah.
How does one direct those? Who knows? I'm no Hollywood insider.
They say which camera to go to.
Okay.
And they keep the show moving. So you're kind of the director in this.
Hey, that's cool. I should get a chair with my name on it. Another one.
So I think his experience, or his body of work, kind of explains why this show was shot the way it was shot. Just static cameras, and when the cameras moved, it was very unsure. He clearly he was just brought on to film the magicians.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of dynamism to how this is presented. The air date for this one, to your point, Dave, sort of tough to find. As far as I can tell, it aired annually between 88 and 96, but who knows when it first premiered. I think the internet has a lot of things, but I wonder if TV Guide from 1988 exists. Well, that's something to look into later. But
excellent thought.
For the purposes of this, we are going with an air date of Halloween, October 31st, 1988. And I think if that wasn't enough flavor, we'll give you a little more context. And tonight we're going to do it old school because, we'll get into it later. You want to know what you're seeing? You want contextual feeling. Contextual feeling. Makes you feel so smart. Helps to understand the art. You want that contextual feeling.
I missed it. I missed that.
Some things hold up well and some things do not. And I will let my feelings on that bit just linger out there like a fart. So
Still working on mine, by the way.
that's all right. So top movies. In a change of pace, we do have a scream-thrilled flick at the top here. Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers.
Which one is that?
So that's not the one where Tom Adkins ate a lot of cheeseburgers and he fights an Irishman. And it's not the one where it looks like Michael Myers' mask, like they just bought it out of the store.
Is it the Paul Rudd one?
No, that's 6.
Okay.
That's when they get really into Sam Hain. 4 is the first one with the little girl.
Okay.
But before, like, she suffers brain damage or something? I don't know.
She goes into shock then.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. And she's got problems. She, like, got the mental connection with Michael. But
Uncle?
it truly was the return of Michael Myers. And I don't know. Not a great flick.
Take that back. That whole series is gold. There's not a bad moment in any Halloween film. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like Halloween 1 is the ultimate slasher flick. Halloween 2 still kind of has that look from Halloween 1, and then 3 is just a complete diversion, and then 4, 5, 6 are just like glossy. As you said, Ben, like Michael Myers' masks is like super clean. Yeah, everything is just got this like glossy kind of sheen to it that doesn't match what the first 2 movies were.
Yeah.
I still don't think enough people focus on Halloween 6 as the beginning of Paul Rudd's true career.
What about the Sega CD commercial he was in? Or the Super Nintendo commercial, I should say.
Not as funny as his performance in Halloween 6.
If you like Paul Rudd, can I suggest a little movie called Ant-Man to you?
I should check that out. I've heard some things.
Yeah.
I've watched it, I don't know, 6 or 7 times.
Yeah. Oh, man. Wow, you had me going for a second there. Now, don't worry. We do have a crime drama. I won't call it an erotic crime drama because that would be fucked up because number 2 was The Accused. And so
yeah, good call.
That would be horribly insensitive. And number 3 was Alien Nation. So
there's your erotic thriller.
In a sense, we do have more erotic thrillers coming. We always do, including Mark Summers' show. Music, number 1 song in the land, Kokomo.
All right.
Which was my introduction to the Beach Boys.
Oh.
Same.
Those are my Beach Boys,
Well, I hung out with people who listened to old music.
Well, bully for you, Shaylin. Number 2, Wild Wild West. And no, not Wiki Wiki.
Jim West?
No, not the Desperado. You don't want to see his hand where his hippie at, but this is the Escape Club version.
Oh, okay.
So no Cisco, unfortunately. Number 3, Phil Collins, Groovy Kind of Love. So
a Halloween tune.
Spooky kind of love.
A ghouly kind of love.
Jaws 2, starring Roy Scheider, Lorraine Gary, and Murray Hamilton, will continue in a moment.
Hi, folks. Continued technical difficulties. We think we have it cleaned up now. Maybe kind of, sort of. Hopefully none of this will actually play to you on the recording, but we're all a flutter here. It's like we're in the movie Congo and the gray gorillas are coming after us and Tim Curry's just been killed while clutching diamonds, but we're going to power through for the people. So are we ready to finally, after hopefully what feels like moments to the listener, but has been just 6 hours for us, who's ready to get into Mark Summers?
Let's dive in.
Let's get the fuck in here. So there's not theme music for this special per se. We're going to talk a lot about music, I think, but let's hear what we open up with. I feel like there's probably 5,000 YouTube videos of dudes with long hair playing that exact riff.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Now, the music, it's amazing. We're going to hear a lot of it. It's attributed to Mark Darkley and the Flaming Hypnotists. This is a first for me. I searched Mark Darkley and the Flaming Hypnotists in quotes. Google, no results.
None.
I went to IMDb. I looked up Mark Darkley. I looked up the Flaming Hypnotists. The only credit is this special. Now, I was bummed because I enjoyed this music so thoroughly. I 100% would have reached out to Mark Darkley and tried to commission a song for us, but another dream dies, you know? That's life.
Something tells me that Mark Darkley is maybe the same person as Mark Wiener. And
or Mark Summers.
Or Mark Summers, yeah. So,
yeah, this is like a studio band, garage band crew.
Oh, man.
And they were like, do you know what a good idea would be?
What's that?
To take on a fake name so no one can connect this to what our actual music career is.
Hell yeah. I don't know. I wonder. Well, listeners, we want to hear from you. If you know Mark Darkley's true identity, hashtag.
Are you afraid of the Mark?
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
I got that. So we meet Mark Summers, and he's dressed like Jerry Seinfeld for some reason.
Or a Target employee.
It's the late 80s. I thought every dude had that sweater.
No.
Oh.
Where's your fashion sense?
Just my dad then.
Oh.
Hi-yo. Ben, was that the same sweater you wore when you worked at Target for 2 days?
Well, it wasn't because I didn't wear a sweater. I wore a red heavy dress shirt.
That's true. I'm sorry.
I'm sure that the sweater was more breathable. I'll say that.
I'm going to go on mute and just put on my hair shirt and torture myself.
Fair enough. It's worse than like hitting yourself with the whip with like the middle-aged people.
Yeah, it's less about the pain and more about the discomfort.
Yeah.
Of my sins.
I'm not the one who knows way. Anyway, so Mark is driving in his convertible with 3 kids who are not his kids.
Correct.
We have Sherry Appleby, who was in Roswell and like a million other shows. She's been on SVU.
Unreal. She had a long stint on that show.
I don't know what that is.
It's the one, I thought that you would have been all over it. It's the Lifetime, I think it was Lifetime.
Yeah, I'm all over
about the making of a show like The Bachelor. So she's like a producer working for a show like The Bachelor. It's fantastic.
So I started watching The Bachelor this year.
Yes, and I keep telling you, you would enjoy Unreal as a result of it.
But I don't enjoy anything, so. But I'll put it on my queue. I
don't believe you, but anyway.
Put it on my queue.
The fuck is this? Personal attack.
I do feel personally attacked.
It's like I spilled coffee on you. Anyway, so you got the lesser known of the 3 here, and that's Trenton Teagan. This was his first credit. Now, I found 2 more credits. He had a few other credits. He stopped acting in the mid-90s. 2 credits of his stood out to me. One, in an amazing piece of kismet, he was a student in Ghost Dad.
Student number 5.
Oh, man.
His other credit, so much more amazing. I didn't think that was possible.
Wait. Can I guess?
Sure.
Because I didn't do any research on this. Or on him, anyway. Was he in Mean Green?
No.
Shaylin, do you have a guess?
I researched these children extensively, Dave.
Oh.
It's not a guess.
All right.
He played a young Mr. Belvedere.
He was flashback Mr. Belvedere.
Yeah. Who's hanging with Mark? Oh, that's me. I'm going to see Master Magician.
It's a mystery magical special.
In the third of the trio, I think the most famous, maybe, I guess I could be overstating.
Definitely.
Jonathan Brandis. So from Neverending Story, from Sequest, from Ladybugs. Now, this was a dude who in the early 90s I despised because he was every 3rd and 4th grade girl's dream.
Yes, he was.
So I'm out here hat in hand and all the girls in class just talking about JB.
Well, he got his, didn't he?
Oh, God.
Wow, that was dark. He didn't really get his so much as he took it.
How did he die?
Suicide.
Oh, God. What is wrong with you two?
Yeah, Shaylin. Jesus.
Where to start? There's a list.
I don't think I appreciate the implication that I had a hand in his death.
I didn't suggest that?
Both of you did.
No, I didn't.
Spilled coffee all over my moral compass. I feel terrible.
The coffee was acid. It
yes.
was on, I don't know, where are we going with this?
I have no idea.
What's going on here? So
Tragic life ended too soon.
Yeah. Thank you for summing that up.
You're welcome.
So these kids all go by their shoot names, so their real names. So I don't know if the idea is these are 3 young actors hanging out with Marc Summers for the night, or if like
that's
Marc,
unsavory.
Yeah, that feels a little creepy. Or if he's just a dude named Marc and he's hanging out with Sherry, Jonathan, and Trenton.
And that's unsavory.
So I was trying to look at this through the lens of like the Nickelodeon producers said, okay, somehow we have to get Marc Summers here, but we also need to make this interesting for kids.
Right.
So we have to get some kids involved.
Got to get the kids involved.
Who is immediately nearby and has some name recognition if we run this special?
Brandis.
And so they just grabbed whoever was there.
A Danny Cooksey wasn't available. It
Correct.
had to be a Brandis.
Indeed. And I never, I didn't get the impression because they talk about their parents so much that it seems very much like.
Maybe a little too much.
Yeah. What does that mean?
They don't have parents.
They doth protest.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking more like, Marc was giving the parents a break. Maybe their parents are producers or something. And he's like, I'll bring the kids to a movie. Why the hell not? And I don't know.
So innocent.
It felt innocent to me when I was looking at it.
There's a lot of there are things that feel a lot less innocent in the show. I'll say that.
Yes.
So they're driving in the car, and it's established very quickly that they don't believe in magic. Magic's not real.
My mom says don't believe everything you read or everything you see.
You don't believe everything you read about magic. Okay, it may or may not be real.
No, Ben, as a fan of magic, did this hurt you to hear?
At the time, it may have.
Okay.
Now I've grown to appreciate magic as a performance art with a sprinkle of the occult. So, I could see through
rather than the inverse.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why you got so many magicians struggling out there, because they can make the dove appear and disappear, but they don't have the panache.
No. There's no other Lance Burton.
The panache of an amazing Jonathan or a Doug Hennig, a Max from the Max.
Specifically, they lack the ruffles on their sleeves.
That's a very, very specific touch, but I think a well put one.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So, as will happen, and maybe this was preordained by the magicians. I don't know. There's a lot to unpack here. Marc gets a flat, and he does like my favorite TV show thing where he's just waving wildly and he's driving the car very wildly, but it's not moving too much. And here's where we get a little bit of that Marc Summers dramatic touch.
Oh, great. I got a flat tire and I don't have a spare.
Every line read he has in this just sounds like he's reading off a Double Dare index card. Just like announcing somebody's name or announcing the next event.
I wonder if Harvey was involved.
He just kept trying to give kids Casio keyboards at the end of every scene. It was strange.
Now, the Casio keyboard makes its own appearance in its own way.
Kind of, sort of.
In the soundtrack.
We'll get there. So, for some reason, John Astin is in this show. And for those unfamiliar, John Astin, prolific actor in like the 60s. And I'm going to guess that he was in this because he was the original Gomez Addams.
Oh, for sure.
But he's never introduced as John Astin. If you think about the narrative of the show, he might just be like some random ass dude. But then again, he has a suitcase full of magic stuff. So what was the point of this?
It didn't say now appearing John Astin at the very beginning on the poster?
No, it didn't. But he had a suitcase full of like magic shit.
Because his picture was in it.
Yeah.
It's just his headshot.
Oh, I thought his name was underneath it.
No. His name showed up in the credits at the beginning.
That's what it was. Okay.
Like that was the draw for kids.
Oh man, fuck. Sean Astin's adoptive father? Awesome. Yeah, I thought at first I thought he was like a disgruntled butler or something, like leaving the house. Like, I can't take this haunted house anymore. But then his suitcase opens up and all his magic stuff falls out. So is he like a disgraced magician? Like getting kicked out by this?
I guess
by the house.
I guess
don't know.
That's the takeaway. Yeah, it's never resolved. It's Chekhov's Gomez Addams, but
a well-known and documented device in literature.
Yeah, very much so.
Yes.
But what I will say is that they got John Astin in. They said, shit, like he's acting the hell out of this scene, with his words and stuff, but we got to get him to do a little line read. So we got this.
I quit! No, it's not just the lousy money. There are too many weird things going on around here.
He was on set for about 7 minutes. He was doing something else, and they brought him in.
He collected a paycheck for that.
And he's never seen again. So the building that you see is the famous Magic Castle in LA, renowned for being like the place where magicians go to hang out. It's invite only. It's a very kind of closed circle. Guests are allowed, but it's treated very seriously, not tongue in cheek. And just saying, if you got a connection to the Magic Castle, hit me up. Email at watchbotspod.com.
So as
I
a
would go.
Giant fan of magic, you have not been?
No, I have not cracked
have
the
to be
inner
invited.
circle. Yeah.
Ooh, that's guess you're not as big a fan as you thought you were.
It's just like in high school where like our lunch periods would be split up. So sometimes you'd have lunch with your friends and other times you'd be like in biology with people you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be like, well, I know this guy. I'll go and talk to him. And then you just sit in the corner by yourself. So that's me with the magicians. I
gotcha.
Believe me, I know the magicians, but it's making that connection. It's reaching out to a Copperfield and saying, hey, Dave, peer to peer, get me into that MC,
Illusionist to illusionist.
Yeah.
Hook me up.
Here's a trick. I got a cup and a ball and I can make the ball disappear. Where is it? You don't know. You want to know? Let me in the castle.
Learning so many new things about you tonight, Ben.
That's right. They pull up to the house, Mark and the kids, and they ask for a phone. John Astin sends them inside. And then all of a sudden you see like a placard outside and it says now appearing. And you see a hand putting Mark's picture in. And Mark's wearing a tuxedo. Where this headshot came from, I don't know. But
Unimportant.
But what is important is the sound effect. Quick over under on that sound effect. How many times does it come up?
100.
It feels that way.
Let's see. It's 22 minutes. I'm going to say 22.
It's only 4. It does feel, it feels like a lot more.
4?
Yeah. Don't worry. We've got more over-unders for you both to be comically incorrect on coming up. So
awesome.
They go in the house and the house has like busts and paintings and a fireplace. And the audio is so badly mixed when they're in this house. It sounds like the AC is on behind them. There's just this low constant hum.
Oh my God. Thank you. So if they wanted to make this scary, they nailed it because the silence is so uncomfortable.
There's a lot of silence.
It's just like should I be hearing something? And like it just kind of unnerved me a lot. It was strange. It was disturbing.
It's very odd. So they're looking for the phone. It starts ringing. They eventually find it in a phone book because magic, and you get a little more acting.
No problem.
Something tells me we should leave now.
Thanks, Sherry.
The smartest line on the show.
Yeah. So they're in this room, and then all of a sudden, he's like, and I know the solution. Actually, I feel like I could make a lot of Arrested Development references, but he feels like Tobias Funke when he's auditioning.
Yes.
And I'm the last guy you're gonna want to mess with.
It's a fire sale.
Yeah. So
he acts like he's searching for the phone, and he speaks into the phone once he finds it, like someone who has never handled a phone before.
Right.
It's amazing, and like that is a microcosm for everything else he does in this show. Like he's acting like someone who has never been in a house before or walked on a floor before.
Whoa!
It's amazing.
Kids, can you believe it?
How do you fall? Well, gravity. Whoa, what is this?
That's so apt. It's like they took someone out of a cartoon and put him in the real world with no information.
It's like the opposite of Cool World.
I don't know what Cool World is.
Oh, man. God, that reference would have killed.
I liked it.
If you knew what thank you, Dave. Yeah. If you knew what Curl World was. Curl World? Cool World.
Girl World is different.
Girl World. That's Spice World's alternate title.
Yes.
Girl Power. Anyway, so Mark falls through a bookcase And now they're in another room and they're looking for a phone, and they run into, I'm going to spoil it, they run into Master Magician Lance Burton, the star of 15,000 Vegas performances, multiple network TV specials, 2-time Magician of the Year, an ability to look constipated and gaze off into space. Lance Burton, one of the all-time greats.
Were you a big fan of Lance?
Yes, of course.
Yeah?
I knew his name, but I honestly don't think I had any idea who he was other than
Shaylin.
Magician.
I'm finding out a lot about you.
Lance Burton.
I don't like it.
That's fine.
I saw Lance Burton and I thought LeVar Burton, and was kind of disappointed.
What is wrong with you two? Now, in the 90s, network primetime magic specials were on like all the time. Did you guys not see these? Lance Burton was in at least like 6 of these. Not as prolific as Copperfield, I'll say.
Sorry, man. Yeah, I think you're alone on this.
We watched a lot of Murder, She Wrote at my house.
Same.
And
and that was True Magic.
Cosby Mysteries, and what was the one with Columbo?
Diagnosis Murder with Dick Van Dyke.
That was later, but I watched basically every episode.
Okay.
Yeah, not a lot of magic, much more like mystery solving. And also unsolved mysteries. So,
well, listeners, we want to hear from you. If you, like me, were cool and you watched those magic specials, hashtag Magic Castle. And if you were a bunch of squares like Dave and Shaylin, don't like having fun, hashtag Magic Asshole.
I just can't Spurton.
It's a strange implication.
I thought Magic Castle versus Magic Asshole was actually pretty clever. But,
it's a punch sideways. So anyway,
I'm just trying to throw things out here.
I appreciate that.
I'm going to pour a coffee on my keyboard.
I find it's improving my performance.
Great.
So they don't know it's Lance Burton yet. We do, because we're hip to the scene. We know Master Magician Lance Burton, but they just see a skinny guy in a tux with wild frilly sleeves. And what do they do? What do they do when they run into Master Magician Lance Burton?
They run and scream. Right? That's what a normal person would do.
Kind of.
Oh, excuse me. Can you help us?
Now, what you hear there is a real good moment. So Mark very calmly asks, "Can you help us?" Master Magician Lance Burton's response is to take a deck of cards and fling it into a gramophone, which starts playing Bittersweet Symphony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a trick. It was like, what is he going to do here? Like, he's a magician, clearly. He just chucks the deck of cards. Yeah. 52 pickups, Summers.
I don't think that was a trick.
No, I don't think that was the trick. I thought that the trick was levitating the record and the needle on the Victrola.
Oh, I didn't even. I was just
because his left hand is just doing this flourish and like getting the needle down and the record up.
Okay,
that was the trick.
Well, I mean, it's all magic to me, and that's practical magic.
On Ben's dancing.
Yeah, you gotta dance.
The Victrola.
It's a kind of magic.
So.
This kind of magic
is the introduction to Lance's magic act. And really, that's what this show is. It's an excuse to do magic. And let me play a little bit of the music to start here so you can get a flavor.
Whoa!
So you get that music for a little bit here. We'll talk about the time in a moment, but Lance just stands and he does magic. He's got stuff with rings. There's birds. He does stuff with a candle you wouldn't believe. But the kids are just delighted by this. And the only way you really know that is by looking at them, because the camera will cut to them occasionally and they're smiling. And once in a while you get like a whoa. But for the most part, during this scene, it's just Lance doing magic silently to a silent audience. And it's very strange.
So two things out of this. One, I'm going to start moving with the confident flourish of Lance Burton.
You have to.
I'm just going to incorporate that into my everyday life, because like that guy, he just gets it. you know?
Mm-hmm.
The second point is the children and Mark just accept this.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
When in Rome.
You're still in the house. You can't get out. You're falling through like trap doors or whatever. And now there's like this garishly dressed mute that is just performing magic in front of you. He's like throwing doves and like lighting shit on fire and like keeps taking his scarf off and on. It's strange. Like, just run out of the house.
Get the fuck out of there.
Get the fuck out.
Pork chop sandwiches. Yeah, it's like, it's an interesting reaction, right? And I mean, just by virtue of what the show is, I guess you can't think too deeply about it, but when you're watching it, it's like, yeah, they are just delighted. They're not horrified. Eventually they ask for help again, but they're just like, hey, let this guy, turn a wand into a candle and kill a bird with a fire. I don't know.
He's a well-dressed monster. He's like just throwing birds at them.
Listen, let's
burning up newspapers.
Let's not have any Burton slander on this show.
Cares not for print journalism.
If I had a flat tire, asked someone I saw on the street to use a phone, he said, help yourself. First of all, I would knock, which is what Jonathan Brandis suggested, whereas Mark was like, nah, he said help ourselves. We'll just go into this random-ass house in the middle of nowhere and not worry about it. That's mistake number one.
Okay.
Mistake number two was sitting around for the fucking floor show when there's a lunatic just entertaining you instead of giving you a phone.
Yeah. We had a phone. It's strange. But I mean, the simplest answer here, and the keep it simple stupid, which is not a mnemonic I can remember or say.
Keep it simply stupid.
Is that they had to do this because otherwise what else was the show going to be?
I mean, why did they need a plot or an attempt to frame it when they could have just said, hi, I'm Mark Summers, and tonight we're going to see a performance by the following magicians.
So this goes into I have a theory on this show. It's one of two things. It's either a Mark Summers vanity project, and he just fucking loves magic, or it's a Lance Burton vanity project, and he just loves Mark Summers.
Now,
maybe they just love each other.
Lance Burton's heyday would come later, so I don't know that it's that. I don't know that Burton had the pull in Hollywood at that particular point.
So it's the former.
It could be.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's possible. Or, some well-meaning producer thought, Mark Summers? Magic? Mark Summers Magical Mystery Tour. I don't know. It's tough to say. So let's play another over-under game. From the start of Lance Burton's act to the end of his act, how long? I pulled out the virtual stopwatch.
It's 4 minutes and 23 seconds.
Okay.
3 minutes, Ben.
Shaylin, you were almost exactly on the dot. It was 3:01. So
then my virtual stopwatch was wrong because I felt like it took forever when I was watching it the second time, and I rewound to watch it again.
Can I correct my answer?
Yes.
24 hours. It felt like it was 24 hours long. Man. I took you down, Lance.
I wish it was that long.
I Lanced Burton.
Lance Burton, Master Magician. But his best moments are yet to come. So
Lanced Burton.
Thank you.
So he finishes his act. He sprints out of the room. The children chase him with a handkerchief. And at this point, admittedly, I thought, this may have been a mistake. So they go into a room, and I want to say it's like a pantry of some sort. And they're just kind of hanging out. And I think it's Trenton says something remarkably stupid. I mean, they all do.
I wish something really spooky would happen.
In a show that is very light and magic themed, this was legitimately like eerie.
Yes.
So like a dumbwaiter kind of thing, kind of light comes down from the ceiling. It's got a fucking head on it.
It's a chandelier.
The head of John the Baptist, on it. It's just like just severed head.
Had him served up on a plate.
Yeah.
And like the camera's panning and like doing these wild zooms, and they're screaming. This is very strange.
It is so incongruous with the rest of, or the majority of this special. It's a haunted mouse? Jesus. A haunted house. That mouse is spooky. It's a haunted house, and it's got some, like, trapdoors and stuff, whatever. But nope, now it's just a severed head being lowered from the ceiling. Who's doing that? Whose head is that?
Well, I think...
John the Baptist.
I think we need to set aside a little time at the end here to talk about the meta-narrative, because it's like you can watch the show and be like, oh man, what's happening here? And then when you find out what's actually happening, it makes even less sense somehow.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I think let's spend a few minutes here at the end unpacking, like, it'll be like the end of Clue, where like they go back and you're like, wait a minute. I don't understand.
Yeah, if they go room to room and 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1.
Except Clue, I think, was kind of cohesive, where this is not. But so they run out of the room. And Mark decides, okay, we can't wish for anything, because if they wish for something, it comes true.
More heads will be dropped from ceilings.
Yeah. I wish for a sexy lady from Mark. He doesn't wish for that. He wishes for a telephone booth, which he finds. He goes in. The kids open it. There's a skeleton there. They're freaked out for like a second.
Did you love... Hold on. This was so good. So he goes in, and they're all alone, right? There's no one in the house except for this severed head. And he closes the door for privacy.
He closes the door for privacy. And I'm glad you brought this up, Dave, because what this also leads to is something that the show is rampant with, and that's sexual tension. Let me play this. Maybe you guys agree.
Do you feel better now?
I don't know. Do you?
Yeah.
So do I.
Between Sherry and Brandis, just this panting and lots of like poking and touching. It's very, I don't know. It's a little touchy-feely, I found. I didn't care for it. Made me uncomfortable.
And again, you get more of that like just soft silence.
Yeah.
That's so uncomfortable. It's like someone farted at a wake. There's just like this, it's so audible and like uncomfortable. I'm as uncomfortable listening to that sound as Shailen is to like all of our jokes.
My family has a soft rule. This is tangentially related, that if we go to a funeral or something serious, that my father and brother can't sit together because like they just laugh. So like, you know what I mean? Like if you're at a funeral, which we have been to, that's life. They will just laugh in the middle of it, and
like a nervous laugh, or do they like see something that?
No, it's like
funny?
it's like a belly laugh.
It's a weird tick.
That's awesome.
And they don't have anybody like putting like one-liners in their ears. They can't control it.
So somehow I have escaped inclusion from this rule. But if I look at either Ben's brother or father at a funeral or other serious event, I get the giggles really bad. Yeah. At my Nana's memorial service, I did like part of the eulogy, and I looked out into the crowd. And Ben's brother was looking at me and like very, like legitimately very solemn and like very supportive. And I had to look away because I almost started laughing. Meanwhile, like I'm sobbing, standing on the altar talking about my Nana. Oh yeah. Not good. Not good.
So that's life sometimes, Tears of a Clown.
Yes.
Kind of.
Dun, dun, dun,
So
this music, that would have made this scene much better.
I would have enjoyed that. Any music, really, other than what we got. But.
Well, they spent the entire budget on Lance Burton's puffy sleeves, so they couldn't afford incidental music.
Master magician Lance Burton.
I don't care.
Let's not be mean. So the kids go into a room. Mark is dead. We'll assume acid has eaten his bones for the moment. And they go into a room, and they find, of all things, a player piano. And they fucking love this player piano. It's like they're just playing notes back and forth.
They forgot that their supervisor is gone, and they just saw a severed head.
They were in a weird house. A man with sleeves and a candle is running around. But they're delighted. So they're just watching this piano, and they're grinning at it. And then they hear a noise. They hear footsteps. So they go to hide behind a velvet couch. And a woman comes in, and I believe that she is a maid, or at least that's her character.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is this we find out. Actually, we don't find out just through the credits. This is magician Tina Lennert, who I can talk about in a second. She comes into the room and she starts looking at the piano very, very lasciviously, I would say. And the kids find this a little strange.
What's she doing?
She's got like the feather duster, right? And she's at the piano and she's waving at it, and it's all a little eerie. Is this just me?
Yeah, no, she's got like a screw loose or something.
I was going to say DTF, but yours is a little safer.
Okay. I mean, you can be both.
You're telling me. What does that mean?
I don't know. They're the worst hide and seekers in the world.
Oh yeah, I mean,
for sure.
They hide behind that couch and they stick their heads up like a bunch of morons.
Yeah.
I mean, it works out.
This whole sequence it made every part of me uncomfortable. Like I was cringing, I was like turning my head away. I didn't like it.
I knew you would have strong feelings of discomfort during this scene.
I had the opposite reaction because it starts with young Tina flirting with the piano. It gets better. She goes to her like maid cart or whatever. I'm sure that there's a technical term. She puts a scarf on a mop and she puts her hand on it. And then like what's happening is her hand is inside like the sleeve. And so she is both mop and person, but it's like the mop comes alive.
So she's snuck her left arm through the coat that's hanging on the mop. And then with her right arm, she's pretending that's hers. And the left arm is the mop coat thing.
It's truly an amazing bit of coordination. But before we talk about it, let's listen to a little of her music. There is 100%, I don't have a doubt in the world, a dirty version of this on the internet, right?
There has
Definitely.
to be. The music sounds like one of the more lighthearted scenes from Red Shoe Diaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that mop hand and her hand, they're like caressing each other and like they're very close together because it's both her hands. So it feels very like erotic. And
I would overly
turgid.
intimate.
Okay.
I would call it overly intimate and weird choice for a kid's special.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. And it reminded me of Shaylin's all-time favorite stage act. And she's looking at me quizzically, but this will make sense in a moment. When Shaylin and I were first together, we took a trip with my family overseas to Ireland. And we watched, I want to say the first version of a show called Britain's Got Talent. And so mind you, we're there with my mom, my stepdad, my brother. And there was this husband-wife act. And they were
almost naked.
Gymnasts and almost naked. And their act was like doing crazy gymnastics on top of each other. And there was like a silk sheet involved. Now, Dave, what you have to keep in mind is that, I mean, these two are just, they're man hunk, they're lady hunk, they're glistening. Yeah. But the best part
literally
by far, is the name of the group, which is Crazy Horse. And Shaylin is horrified by the act.
Yep.
Why?
I mean, she just finds sensuality unnatural.
It's just two lovers on stage in front of thousands.
Yeah.
Remember, I was raised by pilgrims who didn't even hold hands in front of their children. So
raised by pilgrims.
Pilgrims?
Basically.
When were you born? 1700? We had a hoop on a stick.
Basically.
Jacob's ladder. I'm not talking
Played on Plymouth Rock before it was Plymouth Rock.
But
it was just a rock.
That was the climax, is that Crazy Horse went on to Plymouth Rock and they went wild with each other. But
I was going to say, you got so enamored with the act, you emailed them, and that's how you met me and my wife.
That's right.
I'm Crazy Horse.
So it was
Crazy
really
Horse?
awkward to watch this thing that was like legitimately it's a feat of strength, and the athleticism involved is very impressive, and what they're doing is very artistic, and I can see it as being like a beautiful display of what humans can do.
You just described all the sex I've ever had.
It was
all right.
It felt voyeuristic in a way that I didn't like. And also I was first exposed to it sitting with my
You were exposed?
Then
Shaylin.
This is very poor choice of words.
Ben and I were dating. We weren't engaged or anything.
And you were exposed?
His little brother and his parents were there, and one of the judges.
I thought we were talking about Tina Lennert.
I'm just going to stop talking. Let me finish a sentence.
Continue.
I don't want to anymore. So I'm sitting in this room with Ben, who's my boyfriend, his little brother, and his parents, and these two people on screen doing this. And one of the judges just lets out like oh man, it's like, can you imagine the sex between these two? And it was so fucking uncomfortable.
It's interesting you bring that point up.
Yeah, okay.
Because Tina Lennert, also married to a magician. Do you think magicians have weird sex?
I mean, I bet there's a lot of puns. And like,
hold on,
go. Yep.
Well, please go into.
Like, I bet there's like a lot of
there.
Like weird, like, do you want to see it disappear? Like stuff going on.
Oh, God. So, like they're children.
He's just
tucking
it in.
I got a wand for you.
Yeah, I imagine it being very corny and weird.
Okay.
Ooh, why don't you pull this rabbit out of my pants?
Yeah, like that's what I envision.
What other puns would there be, Shaylin?
I don't have any others. You help me hit them all.
I'm gonna saw you in half vertically.
Ew. Well, I wasn't prepared to go there.
Gonna throw a dove at you.
It's fine. Anyway, to get us on track. So the mop charms her. Did you guys see how this act ends?
She went down on the mop.
Well, that's implied. It's all very tasteful.
Mm-hmm.
The mop puts like a rose in her hair.
Yeah.
And then it flashes the white power symbol at the kids.
But at the time, it was not white power.
I'm just telling you what's there.
You're right.
Puts a rose in her hair and then flashes the white power symbol at the children. And let's play another game of over-under. How long was this act? Keep in mind, 22-minute show. We already have a 4-time sound effect in 3 minutes of Lance Burton. How long was Tina's act?
17 minutes.
Okay. Dave?
3 minutes and 42 seconds.
3:15. So,
ooh,
yeah.
Yes.
So we're getting there.
Yeah.
So anyway, she leaves or No, the kids just wander out of the room. Actually, that's how that ends.
Yeah.
Which
they don't.
Great.
They don't want to see what the ending really is.
Yeah.
I like the narrative and the meta narrative. They're like, everyone's just like, why did they choose this act?
Yeah.
This is terrible. I'm leaving.
So they end up in a big like theater area, and like it was at this point I wondered what this building was supposed to be, because we find out later that they're there for the magicians to put on magic for them, but there's no guests or anything. Anyway, I don't want to get us off track further. The kids say something fairly obvious.
Look, this is getting really weird. Listen, I'm tired of this.
me too at this point. But
getting really weird.
Yeah.
It's representative of our listening audience.
The lights come up and it's Marc. And Marc's on stage wearing a tux. Looking
so uncomfortable.
Looking very uncomfortable.
Out of place.
What do you think Marc is there to do?
So
The answer is magic.
Magic.
The answer is magic.
I thought he was supposed to be in some kind of trance.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was the look on his face was like somehow he's been put into an altered state.
I would like to put a pin in that because we're missing the most important part. But I think there's something to what you're saying, Shaylin, along with another physical attribute, which you pointed out. But before we do that, we need to play the music because the music is what ties this all together. I would say better than anything Tchaikovsky's ever done. So I don't remember anything about watching the show. This music I remembered. It started playing and I was like a fucking dog. My ears perked up. I started drooling for some reason.
It's like Pavlovian response to this like softcore, like clown porn.
Yeah, it feels very porny.
Yeah.
I'm sure that I've seen other films that have this music.
I was like imagining like what sort of like softcore clown porns there were that would play this music, like Bozo Gets Busy.
Yeah.
Or like, Pennywise Pounds Foolish. Like it was it's again just disturbing and uncomfortable.
That it was. Now, Shaylin,
yes.
You mentioned Mark looked like he was in a trance.
I did.
He also had a very odd physical attribute that you and I both lost our shit at. Now, it's explained in a minute, but do you want to talk about it?
When we initially were watching this, I first said, look at those sleeves. They don't match the rest of his shirt. And then I went, why are his arms so fucking short? And then I went, oh my God, that's Lance Burton's arms.
And it was.
But it took another, 6 or 7 minutes for the reveal.
Well, we'll get to the time. But I mean, I think like the whole act or the first part of it, it's like that whose line is it anyway bit. So Mark is standing there with a big cape and a tux, and he's got Lance's arms, and it just looks like he's got these little teeny tiny arms. But it involves Lance pulling ribbon out of Mark's mouth for 25 seconds and doing some tricks while Mark just stands there looking like he's very uncomfortable to have this man behind him.
Yeah, and his he's trying to smile, but clearly he's just hating what's happening. And yeah, he looks like he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, and he's not smiling or anything. They're just standing there, and eventually Lance comes out. So it's clear that Lance and Mark are on the stage. And it seems like the magic show has ended. The music stops, the kids applaud, everybody looks okay. All of a sudden, Lance wraps Mark in a big black cape. He flips him up so he's levitating, and he ushers him off stage. It was approximately here that something insane happened, and I died laughing. And I'm going to play the audio. We'll see if it comes across, but this is amazing. Jesus. So Lance walks off the stage.
And then the clowns start to fuck again.
They're always fucking.
Yeah.
He has his hands out like he's going to strangle the children. He pulls a quarter out. So that's where you hear the bum, bum, bum. And he pulls a quarter out, and the kids are just like, oh, cool, neat. And then you get the clown music again. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. What was this music?
And he's
Casio.
He's coming at them with his hands outstretched like he's going to choke them. Run away, children. Just run away.
They don't run away. These kids are clueless. But so it's okay. Lance pulls the coin out, and the kids are like, hey, cool. So you get the clown music, and then, don't worry, Mark's okay.
Mark?
It's me. Say hello to my new friend, world-famous magician Lance Burton. He's the one who's been having all the fun with us around here.
The fun.
Oh, he's the one torturing us. Okay.
He's the one who borderline kidnapped us and won't let us call AAA.
Yeah, who kidnapped Mark for
and
the purposes
3 children.
But he kidnaps Mark so he could teach him the tricks, and Mark's like, hey, fuck it.
My new friend, world-famous magician, Lance Burton.
Now, this magic trick, this setup, the kid's not running away. It's so fucking awkward. All of it. You
can tell why they spent so much time on the magic, because the dialogue is really vague.
Yeah.
It's messy.
You guys still there?
We will return with The Cloud, starring Dennis Weaver.
And we're back. We performed a magic trick of our own. We were gone for an insubstantial amount of time, and now we can very smoothly pick back up where we were, which was magic tricks. So, speaking of magic tricks, one of my personal highlights of the episode was when Trenton proudly announced that he could do a magic trick. You guys know what I'm talking about?
And then he couldn't?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I got a couple of clips in succession. I think this is worth it. Hopefully.
How about a magic trick? I'm going to make this pencil disappear.
So he asked for a deck of cards, and he's just fumbling with them. It's the classic pick your card, any card or whatever, and it sounds like this. It goes on fucking forever.
Okay.
There's just like silence and muttering and I don't know, continued theme of time killing, I feel like.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. But at least it ends well because you get the classic sound effect.
This your card? No, that's not it either.
Sorry, Trenton.
Sad trombone.
Interestingly, when the recorder kept failing, that's the sound that I was saying as well. So
there is nothing more exciting than watching a kid stumble around and fail at a magic trick. Like that, it's just top entertainment. They captured it well here. Santos did his job.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing he did that I can appreciate is his concise look at the trick. From the time Trenton announces he's going to do a magic trick to the time of the sad horn, how long?
It's like a solid 50 seconds.
Okay.
I'm going 90 seconds.
57. So,
yes.
So Dave, you're honing in slowly.
Boom.
I think I'm getting further away on the over-under game.
Our brief break was very, very helpful for Dave.
Yeah, I took a lot of time. I rewatched the footage. Made some adjustments, and now I'm really I'm ready to get back into the game.
So here Lance whisks Sherry away, and it's a little creepy. There's some weird undertones there. We don't need to belabor them. Just know that they're there.
But it's because she said, "I have a lot of questions for you."
Yeah.
Yeah,
and he said,
I thought he was going to murder her.
You want to see my melting candle?
Yeah,
that's right. I went there. For better or for worse.
Candle in the wind.
So they go out into the hallway, and then the creepy black glove person comes out, and it's sort of the precursor to V from Vendetta, you know?
Yes.
And what else would you do in that situation when you run across a specter or a ghoul of some sort? You fence them. And Lance and the specter, they fence for like a month, honestly.
Oh, man.
Sure does feel like it.
It was like, all right, this is fun. And then it just keeps going and going and going. It was awful. It was like one of my stories.
Don't go there.
I went there.
Don't go there. Jalen, what's your opinion?
It's like talking to me.
Yeah. Don't go there. It's like talking to me. Don't go there.
Self-deprecating bots.
That's right. Within every
long-winded bots.
Self-deprecation is a nugget of truth. So anyway, it really goes on for a minute and a half, but then the episode hits its first climax because the V for Vendetta and Lance are fencing. They're back in the stage. Trenton and Jonathan Brandis are there. And then all of a sudden, Trenton throws his arms in the air and you get a little of this.
The 3 spades. Yeah, that's my card.
What a showman. So what he does...
Yeah.
Trenton throws the cards in the air. And Master Magician Lance Burton stabs a card with the sword while he always has that constipated look on his face. He rips the card off. He gives it to Trenton, and they pay off the fucking magic trick. It was great. It was golden. That's practical magic.
That's showmanship right there.
It's true.
Like, how are we going to take this boring guess a card game and make it into one of the most exciting tricks ever to be filmed on television?
In the history of ever.
Yeah. Well, what about fencing? That's a great idea, Santos.
Master Magician Lance Burton, do you have any other skills? Well, I've been known to throw the foil around.
I've dabbled in fencing.
It's a good skill to have, I guess, for a magician. It's lots of flourishes. I feel like they would thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah. So
do you think he came in and he was like, just hold on, no, we're not just doing magic tricks, like, and he like pulls a sword out of his suitcase. He's just like, let me fence. You'll like it. Trust me.
I got my wand. I got my candle. Got my scarves. Got my fencing foil.
My birds.
my frilly sleeves.
My Victrola.
My 2 Magician of the Year awards. Just saying.
My Metamucil to help me with this constipation.
We get 40 more seconds of fighting. Everybody's favorite, and then V encases Master Magician Lance Burton in a classic magician's blanket, and it explodes. And I thought, oh, fuck. Like, one of two things. One, it's a trick. And that did cross my mind. Two, they've killed Master Magician Lance Burton. But wait, V comes back out, unmasks, and wouldn't you know it, it's Master Magician Lance Burton. He was, in fact, both himself and V for Vendetta at the exact same time.
That's talent.
Think about it. And because this aired in 88 and was geared toward kids, they thought, you know what a good way to end this is? Panting.
It's just a trick.
There's not anybody else in the room. It's just him. And the camera just lingers on his face. It's very, very alarming. It's not great.
So tired.
Well, I mean, he had been fencing himself, apparently.
Do you think that he uses twice the energy to do that?
Yeah.
Or do you think he uses more because he has to somehow split his existence?
Because, yeah, see, I like to think of it in Star Wars The Last Jedi terms, right? You know, Luke, he's on Octo. He's sitting on the rock, but he's force projecting himself onto the salt planet of Crate, and it killed him. So I think Lance, being a little more spry, was lucky to make it out alive.
Yeah.
It's Octo? Yeah. I thought it was Octu.
I'm not sure.
Okay. I only say this because I read our kiddo a book tonight that referenced it, and I almost said his name just there.
Wow.
But I said Octu.
Well, now we're raising a dunce.
That's how it's spelled.
Throw this one out to the listeners?
Yeah. Hashtag October or hashtag
Sakioktomi.
But that's still toe.
Oktumi.
Yeah.
Oktumi. There we go.
You never thought that one.
Damn it. I had it.
You got there and then took one step over that line.
It's all a trick.
Yeah.
It's all a trick.
So Mark and the kids, now we see them outside. Their tire is magically fixed. Some other poor schmo shows up with a gas can out of the 1940s.
An uncredited guy.
Yeah. But let's listen to the last line.
The tire's fixed. How'd that happen?
It's all a trick.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Just ran out of gas. Is there a phone in there I can use?
Help yourself.
The silences feel so much more awkward.
You can somehow hear the director behind the camera counting down like 3, 2, 1 to get them all to say it at the same time.
1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000.
Yeah, you can like hear the motion like counting down. Yeah, it's like,
exactly. How many? That's like take 47 while they tried to all say it at the same time.
But it ends. It ends on a classic freeze frame.
A classic freeze frame, and you know, I watched the credits. Location manager, familiar name, Patrick Dempsey.
I laughed so hard.
I don't think that it's him, but I guess I don't have any proof that it isn't. So
I certainly don't.
Hot off of Mystic Pizza.
So that's Mark Summers' magical mystery tour magic of magic. And you know how we do it here. But to stick with the month, Shaylin, would you show it to Leprechaun from the movie Leprechaun?
Yes.
Okay.
Enthusiastically. As a torture device.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Dave, would you show it to Jason X from Jason X, who is kind of childlike?
Yes, because I think just, you know, seeing a little magic and knowing a little magic like that might help him. You know, might stop him from killing.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And I will judge this based off of our aforementioned Jamie from Halloween 4. And the answer will also be yes, because she's into clowns, and that's bullshit. And if I could steer young Jamie toward the mystical arts, then I don't know. Seems like a better life than she ended up having.
Sure.
The mystical arts. Do you think she's down with the clowns?
Yes.
Most
assuredly. She's been to the gathering. I don't think there's any question there. Yeah. And let's go with 1 to 5 mop lovers. Shaylin.
I give this 2
How
mops.
many mop lovers are you taking, Shaylin?
2 mop lovers?
2 mops.
Okay. Describe them in detail.
Mop number 1, name recognition. People like yourself seem to like Lance Burton. Mop number 2, it's a thing to talk about. I was not entertained by this. And that's okay. Like, everybody has their own thing. This was not mine.
It's a very forward-thinking opinion of you.
Okay.
Dave?
This is like an eyes wide shut kind of thing. I'm going 4 out of 5 mop lovers. It's a lot of lovers. So it was awkward, and it wasn't, it didn't know if it wanted to be a magic show or a horror haunted house show. Like, but I love that. It's very unique, and you're never gonna, I don't know. You don't see anything like that anymore.
It's true. And for me, when I was doing my research, I stumbled across another review, and I feel like it describes my feelings here much, much better than I possibly could. So this is from IMDb. The reviewer is Protector 222226 from August 2007. This special was amazing. It was my first introduction to many things. Actor Jonathan Brandis, and of course the amazing and unmatched showmanship of Lance Burton. I used to sit down to watch this special every single year. What fascinated me so much was the uniqueness of Lance Burton. Lance was unlike any other magician I had ever seen. Not because he was younger or different or whatever, but because he really made it a show. Any trick he uses was pure distraction because of how charismatic he was. His now famous dueling swords trick was shown one of the first times on this show. I miss it. If you remember it, if you have it, TiVo it, Devo it, because it truly is a diamond in the rough. And that's why it's 5 fucking mop lovers for me.
Whew.
All right.
All right.
All right. So let's do the thing that we do, which is to play games.
I have a game.
Well, that's good. How spontaneous.
Yes. I just thought of one. But before we get into it, I want to ask you guys a question. Ben, you go first. Why do you watch horror movies?
Love to laugh.
Okay. Shaylin, why do you watch horror movies?
The thrills.
The thrills!
Catch the thrill.
What's your favorite horror movie, Shaylin?
I like Night of the Living Dead.
Okay. Ben, yours?
Original Texas Chainsaw.
Ooh, that's a good one, too. So, there's an H.P. Lovecraft story that talks about people who love to be scared. It's called The Picture in the House. And the narrator in that story calls them searchers after horror. That quote speaks to me, because I love horror movies, too. But it also speaks to the 14-year-old boy in me, which I would say it's a searcher after horror movies with nudity.
Yeah.
So why do you watch horror movies? You guys were both wrong. It's for the boobs. You watch horror movies for the boobs.
Sure enough.
So welcome to my game, Scream Queens.
Okay.
You guys ready? You guys excited?
I'm excited to hear about this game.
I am looking forward to talking about full frontal nudity.
Oh, yeah. Wrinkle clips.
That's right.
Anyway, so Mr. Skin, the nude scene curator, Shaylin, you know him well, has recently compiled some fun facts around nudity in horror movies. They surveyed 129 movies, and this is what they came up with. So, I've come up with a multiple choice quiz to test your scary movie nudie knowledge. You guys ready?
Scary movie nudie knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
Incredibly
Shaylin.
ready.
Ben was born for this. Shaylin, you're going to go first. Of the following, which movie franchise has the most nude scenes? Is it A, Hellraiser, B, Halloween, C, Nightmare on Elm Street, or D, Air Bud?
Hellraiser.
That's correct, Shaylin. You've got a point.
Yeah.
Get my trusty pen here.
Air Bud.
Pen of Blood.
Does it count when the dog is nude?
Only when the dog shows the red rocket, I feel like.
Okay.
But he was never nude because he was always in a basketball jersey or a football jersey.
Well, I didn't know if his fur coat counted. That's all.
He'd have to be shaved, or as Ben said, sporting that lipstick. All right, Ben, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Out of 129 horror films surveyed, 61% of characters who got nude died. How many died while nude? Is it A, 15%, B, 20%, C, 35%, or D, 100%, all sinners must die?
So, just so I'm clear, the question is what percent of the 61% died, right? Not like what total
Correct.
percent. Okay.
Correct.
So it's can you just give me those one more time?
A, 15, B, 20, C, 35, or D, 100?
I feel like I'm overthinking it. I feel like it has to be 100%.
I'm sorry, Ben, it's B.
No,
20%.
that's bullshit because the good girls don't get naked in the movies.
Yeah, but
the bad girls sometimes get their sweater back on before they're murdered.
Oh,
Right,
that's right.
exactly.
Yeah, see, that was the part I wasn't thinking of. I was just too focused on those nubile young women.
We're going to pause here. What's your favorite nude scene in a horror movie, Ben?
I like. Okay, this is a deep pull. So, in Friday the 13th, Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell. He's like caught in the FBI sting, and it includes the woman, the FBI agent going in the cabin and going to take a shower because she knows like she has to draw Jason out. But then she
takes the fear shower.
She throws on a t-shirt and she's like combat rolling around the house with like a fucking pistol. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Shaylin, what about you?
Which is the one on the cruise?
Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Okay, so any of the nude scenes in that movie simply because it's that movie and it's a very funny movie.
I don't recall any nude scenes from that one.
Someone definitely porks on the boat.
There are. I checked.
Okay. I like that one because the kid gets his head punched off.
Yeah.
A cocky bastard.
This was the best game to do research on, by the way.
Can't do it at work, though.
I mean, you could
can?
do it at my work because there are no internet filters.
Uh-oh.
Shaylin, you ready for the next question?
I'm ready.
All right. Who was the Scream Queen I always wanted to see nude but never did? Was it A, Sarah Michelle Gellar? B, Jennifer Love Hewitt? C, Tremors Finn Carter for the purple panties scene? Or D, Freddie Prinze Jr.?
So
it's an audio format.
Her name fell out of my brain. Can you say their names again? Jennifer Love Hewitt. I got it.
All right. Yeah, there you go. You got a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, of course, to be fair, she didn't get fully nude, but there was a movie she was in with Jackie Chan where there was some potential slippage under the water.
Oh, was that the spy movie?
Yeah, it's the one where Jackie did all his own stunts, and he was very charming.
Yes, of course. Yeah. And there was a dance scene involved.
Yeah.
I knew the answer to that question because one of the first times I ever met your dad, he was watching Ghost Whisperer on TV. And you said, "What are you watching?" And he said, "Boobs." And you responded with "boobs." And I was like, "What?" And that was the day I realized that you and your dad referred to her as just boobs.
Well, my dad referred to her as boobs.
Yeah.
And
it was very funny. Yeah, I'm not criticizing.
It sounds like somebody's getting outed as not woke.
So this was great.
Yeah, Dave's dad.
Because I was going to tell that story, but the fact that you remembered it is way better. So awesome. Ben, question number 4. Of the following, which genre has the most nudity? Is it A, comedy, B, horror, C, crime, or D, mumblecore?
Which has the most nudity? Just based off of those 129?
No. This is not those movies.
Okay.
This is they've broken out. Mr. Skin broke it out.
All
Any
time.
genre.
So comedy, crime, horror, or mumblecore.
Correct.
Huh. I want to say, you know what? I'm going to go thematic to our show. Crime, erotic thrillers.
I'm sorry, it's comedy.
That was follow your instincts.
Yeah.
Comedy?
Yeah, I think Animal House.
Yeah. Of those 4, Of those 4 options, it was comedy. I think drama was the number one.
I guess that makes sense.
Oh, see, because I was thinking crime encompassed erotic thrillers, when of course that would be a drama.
Indeed.
With eroticism. Like trial and error.
Comedy makes sense in this context because of how often Will Ferrell takes his clothes off in movies. I think that still counts.
You ever
as
see that
nudity,
guy
right?
named Dong? I don't think so.
But
yeah, Stranger Than Fiction. It was in that movie. It was about his dong. It was comedy because, like, think of all the ski school comedies in the 80s that came out, or like, you know, the Revenge of the Nerds, or any college themed or camp themed comedy.
Plus all the Naked Guns.
That's my pie. The Naked Gun was a metaphor.
Like Stranger Than Fiction.
Yeah.
Whose turn is it? It's Shaylin's turn. How long is the longest nude scene in the Friday the 13th series? This is where my research came in very handy. Is it A, 45 seconds? B, 2 minutes? C, 1:33? Or D, I don't know, I fapped instead of researched.
Oh, good Lord. Good heavens, it's too far.
1:33.
I'm sorry, it's 2 minutes.
What movie has a 2-minute
love
nude scene?
I would love to tell you, but I forgot to write it down.
Fair enough.
It's still shorter than any of the magic acts.
That's true.
I think it might have been from Jason Takes Manhattan.
Okay.
On the boat.
Okay.
Might have been.
So Mark Summers taking the ribbon out of his mouth was as long as the longest Friday the 13th nude scene. Think about that.
Yes, and as erotic.
What a weird equation we just did.
Yeah, that's math, baby. That's new math.
Common Core.
All right, the score is 2-0, Shaylin. Ben?
Yes.
You're up. Eli Roth recently released Knock Knock, a movie about 2 women who psychologically and emotionally torture a man and blackmail him after luring him into a threesome. This movie is a remake. What is the name of the original movie? Is it A, Who's There? B, Ski School 2, Ski Bums? C, Death Game? Or D, Two Fat Hens?
2 fat hens.
I'm sorry.
Final answer.
Okay. The answer is C, Death Game.
No, it's 2 fat hens.
It's
final answer.
I'm glad you like that.
But it was also about the Food Network show, right?
Yes, 2 Fat Ladies.
Yeah. And there was their biopic when they lured a man.
Yeah.
Baked
It was
him in a pie.
that man was Gordon Ramsay.
Yes.
And what a film it was.
I rented this movie when I was little. I was like 12 or something. I walked down the video store. I'd always seen like Death Game on the shelf, and I had to pull it down. And you know, I think it was a Playboy film, but it wasn't like all about sex and everything. It was like an actual sort of grindhouse, you know, horror movie.
So it had a little more gravitas to it.
Yeah,
if you will.
Yes, exactly. So I rented it, and it was so disturbing. I felt nauseous afterwards. They do a lot of like weird, freaky things with the camera and the lighting and like the makeup. It's disturbing. The plot is, as I described in the question, it's pretty simple, but yeah, it's just very nauseating. But check it out. It also stars the man in it that they torture is he's the dad from Rushmore.
Okay.
So you look back and you just kind of you put the dad from Rushmore into this threesome scene. Sure. Very strange.
That's how you get a Schwartzman.
Yeah.
Schwartzman.
Mm-hmm. So there's no way you can win, Ben, but
it's fine.
There's one last question. Shaylin, my friend and I rented this movie so many times because of the twisting plot and the nude scenes and the scares, but also the nude scenes. Which movie was it? Was it A, Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College? B, Chopping Mall? C, Killer Workout? Or D, Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers?
A, Ghoulies Go to College.
That is so on the money. You guys have seen this movie?
No.
Did I show you?
Not in a long time.
No. It's fantastic. It takes this, like, Ghoulies 1 and 2 are sort of serious, like a kind of like occult monster movies, and then they just decided, you know what? Let's make these guys hilarious and put them on a college campus during prank week. It is amazing. One death, there's a guy who gets shoved down a toilet and his like legs fold up and they flush him completely down without like breaking the toilet or clogging it. It's amazing.
I want that kind of pipe in our house where we can flush an entire human being.
That would be
not for any threatening reasons, just because.
That's above our income bracket.
Powerful.
Especially with a man in the White House.
Oh, man. Tell me about it. All right. Shaylin, congratulations.
Thank you.
You've won Scream Queens.
I know the nudie parts of the scary movies, I guess.
What do you know?
You heard me.
You get a prize, Shaylin, because you won. Do you want to know
what is my prize?
It is a VHS copy of Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College.
Yes, now I don't have to buy you a Christmas present. I can just wrap it and give it back. Right.
And it's in the old video store clamshell.
Excellent.
Casing. So, yeah. You got a big prize. Big
to dig my VCR out of the basement.
Really big.
Really big. Well, thanks for playing, everybody.
Hooray!
Good game, Dave.
Thank you.
You know what else is good? Getting some mail. And we have a whole slew of mail this week. So I'm going to leave it to y'all. Do you want a friendly fall and autumn themed question or one where we are mildly berated? There's only one answer. Mildly berated.
Berated.
Yes,
berated.
But we will get to them all. What I appreciate about our listeners, aside from their undying devotion, is like us, they know how to self-edit. So this is a short one. Dear Ben, Dave, Shaylin, and many listeners, aka BDSM, longtime emailer, first-time listener, thanks for producing the feast for the ears that is the Watchbots program. Every Monday, it is one of the things that reminds me that a new week has begun, brimming with possibility and full of yet-to-be-released jism. Just reading it verbatim, folks. No contextualization. Despite the fact that it is an all-around good show, I have several grievances that I demand you address, or ye shall face the wrath of low ratings, shitty reviews, and unsubscribing that this powerful member of your fan base can rain down upon you via the iPhone podcast app. And in parentheses, please imagine this writer gesturing intimidatingly itself with both thumbs as you read that last part and experience pants-wetting fear. Now, there are 4 points. We will talk about them each in kind, I think. Shaylin, what's your thought?
My pants are sweating in fear.
That's horrifying. Jesus.
Isn't that what it says?
Wedding.
Good God. Number one.
I'm a sweaty person. It's fine.
My pants were already wet, so it's fine.
Number one.
I've been sitting here since we tried to record the other night.
You mean an hour ago?
Yes, exactly.
It's a magic trick. There is too much Latin spoken on the show. You're in America, speak American. How about this? Instead of mea culpa, try saying my bad. It's what the young people say nowadays. And, well, then it gets into some things about faiths, which I will not read. But what do you think?
I'm keeping mea culpa.
Okay. So point one, denied.
Denied.
Dave, an agreement?
I agree with Shaylin.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be a slight dissenting opinion and say I'm thinking about cutting the segment. Number two.
Should we cutting it or renaming it?
Yeah, I'm okay with cutting it, but I'm not renaming it.
Yeah.
The listeners don't need to hear this dirty laundry. We won't be dragged into the muck by this emailer. Number two.
Good dirty laundry.
Several episodes of late have neglected to feature the contextual feeling song. This song is the only way I can, how you say, get in the mood for the act of physical love. Please reinstitute this slow jam.
Please.
Well, I can't edit it out now, but so I will respond to this one. First of all, change is good, right? You don't want to hear the same thing every week because that's how you get bored. Yeah. Two, if you want the song, I'll just reply with an MP3 and you can have it. Put it on while you're in the shower. I don't fucking care.
We'll make it available on iTunes for download.
Yeah, you want to listen to Dave's Shaggy impression while you got the song playing in the background? Fucking do it. I don't care. Whatever. Number three. Mike from episode 31, I assume that was the one with Mike, but I don't know what episode that was, is clearly the Poochie of this podcast. He is on our minds even when he isn't there, and when he isn't, someone should be asking, quote unquote, where's Mikey? To that point, I think we can all just say, stay tuned. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Yeah, I think so.
Number 4. Why are there no celebrity guests? All of the guests seem to be dorks you know from your day jobs or something. That's uncalled for.
We had,
there's more to this.
We had Bill Clinton on.
Several times.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned. Sure.
And
De Niro's here all the time.
Surely you could come up with some ideas for fun, famous people to join for an episode or two. Why don't you brainstorm for a moment after you're done reading this email? Say, Billy Zane? Jewel? Rip Taylor? Too soon. Dream big. Well, let me tell you, it's all lack of effort. It's all lack of effort. What do you think? Like, we could just reach out to people and say, come on the show? I can't.
Hey, guys.
Oh.
Guys, I'm kind of offended here.
Holy shit, we got a Wahlberg in the house.
Spontaneous, just using the call-in number.
Yeah.
How could this be?
Thanks for giving me the direct line.
Email line.
As a celebrity, I'm totally offended. I've been on the show several hundred times.
Even when you're not invited.
Is that number of episodes or just invited and uninvited appearances?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Hey, how do you feel about 9/11, Mr. Wahlberg?
I could have stopped it.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. You get me on that plane, I'll stop it. I confess that to Father Flavor.
I'm thrilled to hear it. Do you ever eat?
I'm a Catholic boy.
Do you ever eat one of your family's burgers, the ubiquitous Wahlburger?
Oh, no, that's garbage.
Okay. Why?
I can't. I can't go into it. I don't want
to. That's fair. Did you know that your brother lived next door to my dad for a while?
Your brother knows Jack?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Hold on. Brother. No, my brother.
You got that wrong.
Fuck.
Damn
it.
Oh, no.
We'll cut it out.
No.
We'll cut it out. Mark, come back,
my
Mark.
father's name.
Oh, no.
So that's why we don't have celebrity guests, I feel like.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Because I'm good enough.
And I believe in myself. So those are my demands. You have 24 hours. Love you like a milfy aunt, Donald Trump. So I don't know that we adequately responded to any of those demands. But I will say, we love our listeners.
Yes.
But we don't bow to terrorism.
Correct.
You know?
Mm-mm.
If I want to record a new version of a song and run it into the ground, I will do so. That is my prerogative.
I do think there's something to having the songs available for people separately.
What? So I can be further humiliated?
It's not for
It's
humiliation.
in the context of the episode. You want it.
It's for audience enjoyment.
I don't think I like where this is going. What am I, a clown? Huh? Like a murder clown of some sort?
No.
Is that what you think of me?
Like a Pennywise?
That's right. And a pound foolish.
Yes.
Yes.
To quote a
Thank you for extending that metaphor.
That's right.
Yeah.
What use have ghosts for metaphors?
Indeed.
Well, if you want to get in on the fun, email at watchbotspod.com. So another smooth and flawless and magic tricky version of Schlocktoonbrr, name subject to change, comes to a close. How are we feeling about this experiment? We're roughly halfway through.
I'm loving it.
Ta-da-da-da-da.
Damn it, I was going to say.
Well, I'm too slow.
Yes, I like having a theme, especially spooky. The theme
sentence.
of spooky.
Okay.
The end.
Anytime I can do research into movie nude scenes, I'm down for it.
I mean, Donald Trump did not demand this, but we could just change format to be a celebrity nude scene podcast. I think there's a gap to fill there.
Yeah. Let's do it. We're changing brand. After Schlocktoonbrr, name subject to change, we'll finish that theme up, and then we'll switch over to nude celebrity scenes.
The name of the show could be Watch Booties,
Watch boobs.
Is that disgusting, Shaylin?
Yep.
You're our moral compass for some reason.
It is disgusting,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, I shouldn't be your moral compass, but here we are.
I don't like how Shaylin's our moral compass.
Yeah,
Neither does Shaylin.
Sitting over there high and mighty.
Yeah.
Totally.
Completely engaged.
Just ivory tower looking down on us.
The real magic trick is getting you to not yawn into the mic.
I didn't do so far
Yes.
in the most recent part of our recording.
Right.
Yeah.
Which was just seconds after the last part.
It's all a trick.
Just a trick.
It's all a trick. Anyway, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Jiffy at WatchBotsPod. Please subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, your platform of choice. For Dave and Shailen, this has been, or should I say for Grave and Slaylin, this is Jace Ben Voorhees. Thanks for listening to another spooky, scream-filled edition of WatchBots. And until next week, go in your closet, dig out your Chris Angel magic kit, do the cup and the ball trick, and I guarantee you're going to have a fun time. And not by yourself. Bye!
Mind freak!